disappointment of unmade unification clashes and giving up his beloved IBF featherweight title to one side to seek out win number 31 against the Mexican Mauricio Lara, who has 14 knockouts in his 21 victories, but it's a huge step up in class and levels to where Warrington has been operating for a long time. Body shot there. And already a bit of a novice-y feel to Mauricio Lara. He looked heavy-handed, but slow-footed when we watched him in training in the bubble. Was he disguising something, or is he up to this sort of a challenge?
Well, it's certainly a big step up from the level he's been fighting at, Josh Warrington. I think we'll jump on him and try and get this done. I think he's going to warm into it first, have a look maybe, but I think once if Lara can't hurt him, then I think Warrington's going to jump all over him.
Real technical ability, Josh Warrington. Not just that volume of punches that he throws out, but really good defense, and his IQ's excellent, and he's done everything the hard way and the right way. Challenges, he's been an underdog, he's been a champion, and he's just getting better and better. But a good shot there from Lara.
Yeah, good uppercut there from Lara.
We're talking about his power. Emmanuel Navarrete, the WBO champion, said in sparring he's the hardest he's been in with punch-wise, and Warrington was worried about that with the knockout ratio. Better than just 22, with this golden opportunity to take on the world's leading featherweight who's been out of the ring for 16 months. Might be a bit rusty in there. It's a lively start, this man.
Yeah, I think it's been a slow start from Warrington, which has invited pressure from Lara. Warrington normally comes out quicker than this, letting both hands go. He's trying to maybe warm into the fight. Maybe he feels a bit rusty and doesn't want to go too quick, but I think by starting slowly, he's actually allowed Lara to get into the fight.
Yeah, good first round that from Mauricio Lara from Mexico City in fight number 25. So a sprightly start, showing us the heavy-handed punches that he brings from Mexico, but he hasn't beaten anyone really of any note, and Josh Warrington has been in with, well, the likes of Lee Selby and Carl Frampton and Kid Galahad, and really good fighters, and every step of the way has just improved and learned. But it's an anxious start from Warrington here. He's just wary, do you think, Matt, of the power early of Lara?
I don't know if he's maybe feels maybe a bit cagey, a bit rusty, thinking, I just want to get my distance, warm into it. But I think he's actually, by starting slowly, he's actually allowed Lara to get into the fight and get his confidence up.
Of course, he hasn't got that huge crowd as well. He's trying to fire himself up at the beginning of the ring walk, like he did at the weigh-in yesterday, as they start to really unleash the leather here, these two featherweights. One who's captured the world title, one who's really just put a record together of 24 fights, which hasn't raised many eyebrows yet, but it would here if he pulls off the shock. He was a massive outsider before the first bell, Lara. Just a jab again from Lara. Warrington in and out.
I don't think I've seen Warrington ever start slowly. You know, he always comes out really quick, throwing lots of punches.
Some body shots. He just looks open at times here, Josh Warrington, early. There's some butterflies, not a normal scenario, and also being out of the ring, but that's better though with the combinations. Maybe just slightly wary of this unknown quantity in front of him. But he wants to make a statement, Warrington. He said he wants an early finish.
So I think Warrington's better when he's just standing there letting both his hands go. When he tries to box on the outside and be a thinking, patient fight, that's not really his style. And you know, he's by giving Lara time and room, he's getting caught with some shots. But when he's letting his hands go and he's fighting in his normal style, that's when he's having success.
That's a strange one so far from Josh Warrington. And in the corner, as always, for Josh Warrington. It's been a strange couple of rounds to welcome him back. He has been out since October 2019. He was expecting a unification tonight against Can Xu. He sort of had to get himself up, I suppose, for Mauricio Lara, this unheralded Mexican. No crowd. I suppose it is different.
Yeah, definitely. Someone like, say, boxing in front of thousands of people, unbelievable energy that they bring, and he feeds off that energy. That's what he is. He's an energetic fighter. He's not a heavy one-punch hitter, but he fights with an unbelievable volume, an unbelievable tenacity, and that's missing from him tonight. And that's really what makes him who he is.
And of course, under pressure, because Lara's such a big underdog in there. Is unbeaten in his last 11, Mauricio Lara, and has been much more active than Warrington. He's not afraid to throw his hooks, is he? Lara.
No, he's having plenty of success here. He's landing shots, catching Warrington.
Plenty of noise coming from the Mexican's corner. With his unusual angles. Warrington wants him closer, doesn't he, like that, with the uppercut?
Yeah, I think Warrington's not like he's not a slick boxer. You know, he's not. The thing that makes Warrington special is his tenacity, the intensity. Nobody can live with him, that kind of pace, that sheer will to win. And I think with the crowd, maybe the inactivity, he's thinking more about trying to put on a polished boxing performance, but that's not really who he is, and I think he's struggling to get going here.
It's not the turbo pace he normally sets. Of course, you hear the word potential banana skin. You know, when your mind's on the big fights, the unification clash is not quite the same. It's on a bit of a hiding to nothing. But it still is his first fight back with Matchroom, and it's his return after 16 months. He's desperate to put on a really good show, and I know he wants the knockout. But we don't know about Lara. We didn't know.
I was expecting Warrington to come out really fast, all guns blazing, looking to really kind of make a statement, but you know, he came out, he was backing off, he was boxing, and I think he's just allowed Lara into the fight, and now Warrington's probably struggling to get out of that first gear.
Povetkin, and at the arena, so many great nights here as well. It's been good to have the Wembley residency at the back end of 2020 and at the beginning of 2021. Really good fight next week. Adam Booth's charged Josh Kelly back against David Avanesian, a fight we've been waiting and waiting for. And it's just terrific to have boxing back and to have this guy, Josh Warrington, in action again. Black and gold of Warrington, who's got the dedication to Rob Burrow on his shorts. A wonderful Leeds Rhinos rugby league player who's battling motor neurone disease, and we wish him all the best. A fabulous guy. Got leads behind him, but they're not here to help him.
Not getting caught with a lot of shots here, Warrington. Seems like a really flat performance. I just think he's struggling to get going. I don't know if it's the inactivity or the fact that this is his first time boxing without that crowd. If he's struggling to get going, to feed off that energy, but he just seems really lackluster, struggling, just really flat.
Left hook from Warrington. Beat them up, says Howard Foster. Maurizio Lara. Trying that wide left hook. And he's got an opportunity here if Warrington is having an off night, a flat performance, to really try and do everything he can to get what will be a huge victory in the scheme of things. And he's just wobbled Warrington there, Lara. And the Leeds man just in a spot of bother. He hasn't seemed quite right, and the legs are shaky, and now he's all over the place here, Josh Warrington. And this is bad signs. Maurizio Lara here, an almighty underdog before the fight, has really shaken up Josh Warrington, who has not looked himself. And a great shot, and down goes Warrington. And this is absolutely disastrous for the best featherweight in the world before this fight, and he's all over the place. And Howard Foster giving him every chance. He says he's okay. That was a really bad knockdown, and Lara's on the verge here of taking Warrington out in what will be one of the biggest upsets we've seen in recent times in a British ring. The unknown 22-year-old from Mexico is maybe a punch or two away, and Warrington needs the bell, and he needs it now. Well, he just about gets back there, and Howard Foster gave him every single chance there, Matt. That was the worst round of Josh Warrington's long, brilliant career, and he hadn't looked himself for the opening three, and what about that?
I think if the referee had jumped in and stopped the fight there, I don't think Josh Warrington could have complained too much. He looked out on his feet, his legs all over the place, his equilibrium gone. I don't even know if he's recovered now.
Should he have been stopped?
There's that left hook, you can see legs. Yep, they're not steady at all. Getting caught with shots again.
A heavy knockdown, and he just about made it. And Howard Foster allowed him the opportunity, not defending a world title or anything, remember, he gave that up with the politics of boxing. He wanted the big fights, and he just doesn't look right at all. And I wonder if Lara can just take him out here. Josh Warrington fighting bravely, but almost on instinct here. I wonder if the weight's an issue or something is not right with Josh Warrington tonight.
I don't know what it is, but he hasn't looked right from the first bell. He looks flat. He just didn't look his usual self at all.
He's clinging on to his unbeaten record. We've never witnessed anything like this in Josh Warrington's career. You look at Safian Tassoud, who he beat last time, Kip Galahad, Carl Frampton, Lee Selby, Dennis Kalin, back to Joel Brunker, Dennis Tuberon. He never looked in much trouble in any of those fights. This is totally different.
He won those fights by starting fast and bringing an unbelievable intensity to those fights, an absolute sheer desire, and what a good left hook from Warrington.
Back comes Warrington in the fifth round. Well, over at the stadium a while back, Anthony Joshua was one punch away from defeat, wasn't he, to Vladimir Klitschko? Could Warrington claw his way back in here against this 22-year-old who doesn't have the experience and was on the verge of taking a dramatic win and scalp back to Mexico.
If he gets away with this Warrington, he will be one lucky man, because he was absolutely out on his feet. I don't know if his head's cleared.
One thing we know about Josh Warrington, he has got bucket loads of courage and heart, and he needs those Leeds fans now, doesn't he?
You know, he's going to have to call on that heart and courage and dig in here, because, you know, he's really struggling. He's looked flat from the get-go, badly hurt. Lucky that the ref didn't stop the fight, really. And
right hand from Warrington, gets through cleanly. Lara shakes them off, and still keeps on coming with the big hooks.
I think Lara will absolutely kick himself if he doesn't win this fight.
Has he left Warrington off the hook here? Lara. What a spectacle here.
Second out, round 6.
Prides himself on his athleticism, his fitness, his dedication to training. He says, what I lack in talent, I make up for in sheer work rate. He looks up to Ronaldo and other top athletes for what they do. He has books and stats, and he really has brought the best out of himself, Josh Warrington, over the years, and has become not just a Leeds hero, but a wonderful fighter for Britain. And this just a puzzling night, but give Maurizio Lara real credit here, because no one outside his team gave him a hope. You certainly didn't, Matt.
Not at all. I thought it was going to be over in a couple of rounds. I thought Warrington was going to come out fast, jump on Lara and show that he was levels above him, and get this win out the way and moving on to bigger and better things in the year, unification, world title fights, whatever. But you know, he looked really flat from the start. Came out really slow. Was trying to box on the back foot. And just I didn't recognise him. I've never seen him approach a fight like that. Like I say, he normally brings a real high intensity, a real energy to his fight, but I don't know. Like I say, he was struggling to get up. Maybe was he struggling to get up for the opponent? In Lara, was he struggling because there was no crowd? But who knows? We'll have to see what he says after. But it's been a really bizarre performance.
A real struggle for Josh Warrington. Body shot went in from Lara. Nothing on what's a pretty padded record. He was stopped by Elliot Chavez in a round in 2018, Lara. He's only ever fought outside of Mexico once. He went to Argentina. You just never know, though, do you, in boxing? Even the best can have an off night. And if you're in the right place...
Called another shot there.
What's the problem with his shoulder? Josh Warrington, as the right eye just swells of Maurizio Lara. Of course, he's got all that experience that he can call on Warrington, but still, he just looks physically not quite right to me. And I just wonder, he's been at featherweight for a long time.
I don't know. I don't think it's the weight. I think he's always gone bell to bell, and if he was struggling with the weight, he wouldn't be able to fight the intensity and the amount of punches that he throws. He wouldn't be able to keep that pace up. But I think it's more of a mindset thing, a mental approach to this fight.
Matt, he's been out 16 months. You know, matured. He's 30, father of the twin girls now, and not happy in there, Warrington. The knockdown, and the first time that Josh Warrington has been in real trouble in a fight, and he's very lucky to have got through that round. I mean, he showed all the bravery and courage, but some referees would have stopped it.
Yeah, I mean, he was out on his feet there, out on his feet. He was lucky that the ref didn't jump in and stop that fight.
Do your work, get out, come back to the field.
Round 7.
Seventh round. Few people thought it would go this far. Felt Josh Warrington would make a real sizzling statement to the featherweight division. Hasn't happened at all like that. How are you scoring it?
I haven't been scoring it.
Mesmerised. It really is one of those, you can't take your eyes off it.
He still looks unsteady here, Warrington.
Nice shots from Lara again. There's just a brittle feel to Josh Warrington here. And he's doing really well here, isn't he, the Mexican Mauricio Lara? He didn't get the stoppage win where maybe he should have done, but he's kept his poise, he's kept coming through, and he's proving himself, just 22, on the big stage. Look at these shots going in, and does he win the fight, Lara, if you've got to call it now?
Well, he's in the driver's seat here, big time. He's had a knockdown as well, that's a 10-8 round. I thought he hurt Warrington to the body as well. I think this is a real struggle for Warrington.
I think it's a massive struggle for Josh Warrington.
And he doesn't really carry one-punch power to turn things around with one shot either, so there's going to be a torrid 5 rounds ahead, 5 rounds to go now.
Big meaty combinations going in from Mauricio Lara, and Andy Scott and I were watching him the other night doing a pad session. I mean, he was making a real noise on those pads. There is real power, but he did seem disjointed. His legs were all over the place, even on the pads. Good right hand there. Has Warrington just got to take the fight to him and try and break him up here?
He's just got to fight down on his gum shield and find a way to win, whatever it takes. He can't afford to start feeling sorry for himself in there. He's got to just dig it. He's got to fight down and grit through this.
It's already a torrid, and it's a punishing night for Josh Warrington, who is trying to fight down on that gum shield, but Lara still seems fresh.
See, it's hard to dig in and go to that place in your mind when you haven't already gone there in your mind for the days and the weeks building up to the fight, and if your mental approach hasn't been, it's difficult to bring it out then on the night.
Let's bring in Andy Clark for his view on since he turned in October 2009. It's been a tough road for Josh Warrington, but it's been a sweet one all the way to World Championship honours. He was talking this week about unifying the featherweight division and then moving up to super featherweight. Those dreams will be put on a big hold if he doesn't get through this against Mauricio Lara. I wonder what those other world champions are thinking watching this. They're probably as bemused as we are. But welcome Mauricio Lara to the party as well. Let's not forget what he's done. Even if it's a Warrington off night, he's the man that's still throwing the big punches, good body shots.
I mean, I think this fight is Lara's to lose now. I really think it's going to be difficult for Warrington to turn this round. Like I say, he doesn't really carry big one-punch power where he can turn things round with a shot. He's going to have to really grit this one out.
7 knockouts on the record, much 12-round experience. This is round number 238 in Warrington's career, only the 109th of Mauricio Lara, who's never been in the ring with anyone like Josh Warrington's and his CV. He's done ever so well, Lara.
But he's approached this fight thinking, I'm fighting a world champion, Josh Warrington, so he's in his mind already prepared.
Bit of combination from Warrington, but then he gets caught, and he was hurt again by Lara, who obviously does carry real pop in those fists. The 15th knockout, if he can find it, of his career, would be the sweetest. What an upset. He was on the verge in the 4th round. Now we're in the 8th, and again Warrington walks into a big left hand.
Well, like I said, this ends up being, this carries on and it gets even more grueling. Lara's already gone there in his mind. He was preparing for that kind of fight. He probably knew he had to make it a hard fight, where I don't think Josh Warrington has gone to that place in his mind, his mental preparation, visualizing, imagining, kind of going through the fight in his mind and the build up to it. He's probably putting on a masterclass performance. He's not thinking, or a knockout when he's not really thinking it's going to be a hard fight. He wouldn't have the same mental preparation of how he would have approached a Frampton fight or a Selby fight.
Man, he came with a big team, Maurizio Lara. He has been so cool and relaxed and confident, with a swagger in the bubble this week. But we just weren't sure if there was any substance with the attitude. But he's hurting Warrington with some of these shots. Although you still just don't know if Warrington could put a few combinations together, whether he could just find some way to deliver a victory. Who's feeling it more now?
Coming back into it now. We'll get through what's now, who's there.
If Josh survives, it's one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in a British ring.
Yeah.
Yep, Lara's fight to lose, exactly what Matt's saying from Tony Bellew. He's hanging in there, Tony, is Josh Warrington. And it's a tight relationship, and he must be struggling to think what is wrong, what has gone wrong for Warrington tonight. Is it real credit to Maurizio Lara, or is it big question marks about Josh Warrington, or a mixture, Matt?
I just think he struggled from the start. I think he's just never envisaged this to be a tough fight. I just don't think I think once he got hurt with a shot, then it suddenly started feeling so himself perhaps a little bit, and he's just struggling to get going. It's like he's stuck in first gear and just can't get out of it.
Did you ever have a fight like that, Matt, where you just couldn't get going and it just wasn't there?
Yeah, I had one at the Echo Arena against the Spanish guy, Ruben Ron. It was a defense of the European title.
Oh, big left hand there. He nearly went again, Warrington. He's all over the place in the 9th round, and there's so much time, and down he goes, and he won't get up from that. That's it. Josh Warrington has been knocked out in one of the big stunners in a British ring in the last 2 or 3 years. You would not have expected that. He was down, almost beaten in the 4th, and he has been stopped, Josh Warrington, and he loses for the first time in his life. And it is incredible. It really is what we have just seen in the last 45 minutes or so. Firstly, our attention immediately goes to the medical team, the excellent paramedics, who will make sure that Josh is okay. It was a terribly difficult night for him. From the opening bell, he showed courage. Who have got behind this great guy.